Yes. Good morning. Yeah, that's it.
Very short. Boosters.
Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. May the divine lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. Oh, peace, peace, peace. Welcome to the Sunday service today, and we are doing it from the Ramakrishna Vedanta Ashram, Pittsburgh, and for the devotees of Vedanta Society of Toronto and Vedanta Society of Pittsburgh Ashram. And I will be very pleasant surprised to see Krishna Prana Mataji, who conducted retreat at the Vedanta Society of Toronto earlier, and you all were so charmed and so loving. So today's program, I have requested Mataji to say something about the one who transformed individuality into universality, about the divine, about the Holy Mother, and she will speak on that. And I requested very much to her. She was not she was reluctant. She has come on a vacation here, but she agreed to my request, and I found that getting Mataji here is such a wonderful. You all will like to see Mataji and hear her. Listen to her, so that was my privilege, and she consented to my request. And we'll begin today's service with a song by Amit Chatterjee of Detroit. So here, Amit Chatterjee of Detroit visiting Pittsburgh Ashram, he will sing the opening song.
Amar ma twang hitara, Amar ma twang hitara, Tumi Siguno Dhara Parat Parama Twang hitara, Amar ma twang hitara. Ami jani godin dayamoyi, Ami jani godin dayamoyi, Tumi durgamete dukho hara, Ma twang hitara. Amar ma twang hitara. Tumi jale, tumi sthale ma, Tumi addo mule goma. Tumi jale, tumi sthale ma, Tumi addo mule goma. আছো সর্বঘটে অর্ঘ ফুটে সাকার আকার নিরাকার মা ত্বং হিতারা আমার মা ত্বং হিতারা তুমি সন্ধ্যা তুমি গায়ত্রী তুমি জগদ্ধাত্রী গোমা তুমি সন্ধ্যা তুমি গায়ত্রী তুমি জগদ্ধাত্রী গোমা অকুলের ত্রাণ কর্ত্রী সদা শিবের মনোহারা মা ত্বং হিতারা আমার মা ত্বং হিতারা আমার মা ত্বং হিতারা Amar Matvam Hitara.
Krishna Pranamataji is the nun of the Vedanta Society of Southern California. She is a resident nun of Santa Barbara convent, and she is in charge of Santa Barbara convent. And she is a wonderful good speaker and wonderful speaker. She is. She's also very loving, kind, very, very motherly, as if the Holy Mother manifests to her in her talks, speech, behavior, everything. And when I said, Mataji, this is the topic, individuality and universality, universal, individual and spiritual, and she chose the best manifestation of that in Holy Mother. We all feel that we are individual beings. As the Sankhya says, we are our individual consciousness called Purusha, and they don't have a concept of universal consciousness. If they say universal consciousness, that is Ishvara, but individual consciousness and it being misidentified with the Prakriti or this matter, that is the stand of Sankhya. There is Prakriti and the Purusha, the conscious entity, and the unconscious entity, or this universal material entity. That is the two entities of existence they believe in. And even this conscious entity of Purusha, there are many. Each one individual is Purusha. Whereas Vedanta believes in only one existence, and that is called the conscious entity called Atma or Brahman. And Brahman, when you see it universally, Atma, when you see in individually. But finally, they say that individual consciousness or Purusha or Atma is not the real existence. It is also not the real thing. Real thing, they say, is we are all universal, appearing as individual. Our true nature is universal consciousness. So that is the stand of Vedanta. And this is just the theoretical, that we are universal. All beings are our reflection. The one existence is the soul. But where to find that universality in our awareness and behavior? We have to have some practical example that yes, we feel one with everyone and one with every being. And then we can say, yes, there is the experience of that universality, that aham brahmasmi, practicalized, practice in this life. There the Vedanta wants to say, not only theoretical and in through books and scriptures it should be there. It should be manifested in our life. That universality should be manifested in our life, the feeling that we are always one with the whole universe. Every being is myself appearing as other as it were. In reality, we are all one. There is only one existence, and that is, we can say, Atman or I, the big I that appears as so many different beings, variety, just appearance it is. And that is what manifested in great spiritual teachers. And the greatest and the best example, very close to our heart, where individuality has merged in universality, is the Holy Mother Sri Sharada Devi. I think our Krishna Pranamataji is going to say on that aspect of universality and universal love of Holy Mother. Krishna Pranamataji, please.
Thank you. I can't see. No, it's okay. This is fine.
We can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Yeah, that's good.
So you can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. We have many ways of manifesting that holiness that Holy Mother manifested. She came as a very simple girl to Dakshineshwar, to her husband, who was considered mad. Now, her husband was Ramakrishna. They lived a celibate life their entire life. She was a manifestation of the Divine Mother. He was a manifestation of divinity. So as her village people said, "Oh, you'll never be happy with this man. He'll never give you children." And he said, "I will give you more children than anyone has ever had." She became the mother of everyone and manifested that in every day of her life. And you have to realize, at the time there was the Indian freedom movement. This was after. She was very quiet while Ramakrishna was alive. She lived in the Nahabat, which was across from the temple at Dakshineshwar. And the Nahabat, if anyone has ever gone to India, is literally 8 feet across and circular. She lived there for years. She cooked in there, she slept in there, she had guests in there who slept with her. And you walk in and you go, I'm not sure it's even big enough for one person to turn around. But she was extremely content and happy there. No one even knew she lived there. She was completely out of sight. She got up before everyone in the morning, did jopam all day, cooked for Ramakrishna, entertained the women, devotees who came. And after they had gone to bed, then she came out again. So they said that they knew she lived there, but they weren't sure. After Ramakrishna left this body, she started manifesting the divine within her. And she lived a very hard life for about 2 years because she was sent back to her village, not her village, Ramakrishna's village, and they were very unkind to her. She hardly had enough food, she hardly had anything, she never complained. She just simply went on being the dutiful daughter. When the young monks found out what had happened, they started taking care of her. They brought her back to Calcutta, they built a place for her. But she went back to her own village. She was completely hidden from this aspect of being the divine mother of all. She was basically an ordinary village housewife. She did all of the jobs that everyone did. She took care of all the guests that came. She did the cooking. She did the gardening. She took care of her family, who were really a problem, a big problem. They stole money from her. One of them was mad. They berated her all the time. And she, without any kind of judgment or animosity or anything, took care of them. And she took care of all the people who had been coming to Ramakrishna, started coming to the village. Now one would wonder why she preferred the village life to the Bodhin, which had been built for her in Calcutta, where everyone came and they revered her. But she preferred the village life because she didn't have to put the veil on. She could be just an ordinary person. And so many people didn't recognize that. How you could be the universal mother and also this woman who's chopping vegetables all day long, making chapatis, making vegetable curry, sweeping the rooms clean, taking care of her niece. They didn't have an understanding of that, so people misunderstood her a great deal. However, eventually, people started to see what was going on. And they knew she was the consort of Ramakrishna. They knew they called her the Holy Mother. Now, it was the time of also Indian independence from Britain. So, as you anyone knows Swami Vivekananda had come to the United States and brought Americans back to India. Well, there were severe caste regulations, especially in the villages, very much in it. So she should not have brought in Westerners to sit and have tea with her. This was anathema. But she did. And she had food with them. She treated them as if they were her own daughters. And they all say this, though they didn't speak any language in common. They had a complete heart connection and they understood what each other meant. So that was one example of how she was a very, very outstanding being who did not, very forward thinking. I mean, we thought in the 60s that women's lib was a big thing. She was so liberated long before we were, just by doing all of these things. She also, well, I'll tell you, Swami Kripamayananda, who was my guru, lived in a village right near her village. And he was about 12 or 14. And he was visiting, I guess he was visiting Jaramati. So he saw this monk, a big monk, sitting, and he was surrounded by women. And this was just not right. Monks are not supposed to talk to women. And here's this monk completely surrounded by them, and Swami, as a 12 or 14-year-old, was very critical. He went, that's not right. That shouldn't be. What is he doing? But he came back. He left and he was very oh, that was totally wrong. He came back, and it was Swami Sardananda, who had sat outside Holy Mother's door all the time. And Swami Sardananda saw him again, and he said, would you like to meet the mother? Well, because they were in close villages, Swami, he said, you mean the Holy Mother? Yes. So he went in, and she said to him, my boy, do I know? I know you. And he said, no, mother, I've never met you before. He said, I was really dumb. He said, she knew I was hers, but I didn't know it was. So he took the dust of her feet. She had a veil on. Yes, he said he didn't see her face that first time. She kept a veil on when we came in. And he touched her feet, and he said, and I kept going back every day because I got an electrical charge every time I touched her toes. And he said, that was very good. Fascinating for a little boy. Also at that time, Gandhi was doing his homespun. Everyone had their spinning wheel, and you were supposed to only buy homespun. That was it. No one, if you were for Indian independence, you did not buy British cloth. So she sent one of the monks out, and she said no. She was getting new cloth for all of her sons, the monks of the order. And she said, you get cutty for everyone, but for Rakhal, who later became Raja Maharaj, you get silk. And this boy who was going out to do the shopping said, oh, mother, we can't do that. We've got a boycott on British cloth. And she looked at him and she said, but they too are my children. They too are my children. We can't deprive them of work. So you see how this very simple, untraveled village woman from a very small village in India, very small, had a heart that expanded to include everyone. But how did that happen? Well, in her case, it happened because she was the divine manifestation. How do we achieve that? How can we expand our hearts to include everyone. We have many ways. We call it self-effort and grace. And you, as Swami Krishna said over and over again in the gospel, set your sail, the breeze of grace is always blowing. But you have to set your sail or you won't catch it. And what is setting the sail? It's the effort we put into training our minds and hearts to be universal. So, Swami often said to us, if you have problems and your mind is upset, it's neither this nor that. It's your mind is not in the Lord. So all of our problems, this is what Holy Mother did continually. She did jopam all the time when she was, well, even probably while she was working. But she did jopam. She thought of the Lord every minute. Now, if we could do that, we would not have problems. If we could keep, because the more you think, you create the habit of putting the Lord in your heart, thinking about it all the time, then your mind, if any stress arises, your mind automatically goes to that peaceful, centered place. But we do have to get our mind under control. And that's, the mind tends to be our basic problem in life. I have a quote. I'm great for reading quotes. This one is from Sri Krishna in a book called The Darling of Humanity, which I have no idea where I got. And he says, I know what is the right thing to do, but my nature doesn't allow me to do it. I know what is a sinful thing, but my nature does not allow me to desist from it. That is the problem of man in a nutshell, said Krishna. He must not only know, because we all know what's right, but must also have the intelligence and willpower to do the right thing and avoid the wrong thing. The heart is more important than the brain. He must be pure in heart before he can be clear in brain and get rid of selfishness and life. So the more we do our job and we think of the Lord, and we put our ideal in our heart rather than up here, we can purify our heart. We change those habits. We change them. We have to develop thinking, which is reasoning, feeling, which are emotions, and willing, which is action. And we have to develop all of those in our mind in a harmonious balance. Because too much thinking leads to no love. You are reasoning everything to a point where you take all emotion out. And you usually don't act. You spend all of your time right up there reasoning things, what if and did. If your emotions are too strongly developed, you're just a whirlpool of misdirection. You have no way, know where you're going. You're just feeling everything and you have no control. And if you act too much, you end up the very practice of always keeping busy, always keeping doing something is a distraction from God. Unless you can direct it as service to the Lord. But in most cases, when we start out or we just begin a spiritual direction, what our actions are is keeping busy. We're distracting ourselves because we don't want to sit still and be with whatever's inside us. Oh, I'll do this. I mean, we used to have these when I first joined the convent, we had, as part of our study program, we wrote dissertations. They were no longer than 10 minutes because they were at the breakfast table and everyone would get really bored if we went more than 10 minutes. But one of our nuns, every time it was her turn, she cleaned every closet because she was trying not to sit down and do it.
Oh.
And this is what I mean with these activities, keep using action as a distraction. But how do we get that under control? You can't control what happens in your life, the external things, in most cases. The only thing you can do, I mean, like, it's once again like Holy Mother. She was in the Nahabat. She couldn't control that. It was the rules of the country at the time, society. She couldn't be living in a temple compound, but she was. That she couldn't control. But she could control her reaction to it and how she accepted it or how she adapted to it. That's one of the ways that we can change our habits too. We can stay flexible, adapt our behavior and our impressions and spiritualize them. It doesn't mean you have to accept injustice or you have to accept abuse. It means you, if you're in a new situation, if you go to a different country, a different city, you adapt to what they do. You don't try and enforce, rigidly hold on to your program for the day. Things come up and things are, but to be flexible and adjustable only helps yourself. Because when you're rigid, you get anxious, you have anxiety, because I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that, I'm in trouble. Now, Holy Mother adapted completely to all the circumstances. Part of her universal consciousness, I would say. We have to be open to the things that go on in our lives because we don't know when the divine is going to come in. As long as we keep working on purifying ourselves, working on purifying our mind and heart, we don't know when that grace is going to come. It can come in any second, but you have to be ready for it. And to be ready for it means, to me, that you have to have established a certain purity of heart. Because otherwise it happens and it's gone. It's like all of the monks in Holy Mother, all of the monks of the order, they all wanted to do austerities after Ramakrishna left the body. Now he had given them everything. Everything. They had had some of the highest experiences. But they said, no, we have to make it our own. And that's where we want the strength to be able to hold on to those experiences if they come. And if they don't come, that's okay. But you still have the strength of character and the strength of mind that you will have the experience at the end. No, there is no losing in religious life. You are always going to get there. You may take sidetracks, but you're always going to reach the goal. There is no doubt of that. You can, as someone said, one of our monks said in one of his lectures, he said, Siri is a lot like God. Now, Siri annoys the living bejesus out of me. So, he said, no, she patiently tells you the direction to go to get to your destination. And you take a sidetrack. And she never gets impatient with you. She never yells at you. She just tells you, you make this adjustment and get back on the track. And he said, this is just what the Lord does for us. We take a sidetrack, we get a little off the road, and we get slowly brought back. And I have never thought of Siri with this same kind of that I did before. I always go, okay, but actually I turn her off. But that's one way of, when you stop and think about it, of thinking of everything that happens in your day in terms of the Lord. I mean, I never would have thought of that. As I said, I just got annoyed at Siri. But the more we can replace our old habits of anger, impatience, judgments, the more we can replace those, and I say replace them, they're going to happen. They're human nature. But if we can form other habits and have the more positive thoughts in our, emphasize the positivities rather than the negativities, then we get rid of the negativities. Because it's like you fill the ruts that are in your brain or in your heart with positive things. Holy Mother did this constantly. She said, let me not see others' faults, but only my own. If you want peace of mind, my child, look not at the faults of others, look at your own. The whole world is, no, let me sing that, help me.
The whole is your own. The whole world is your own. If you want peace of mind, don't find fault with others. See your own faults. Then
Make the whole.
make the whole world.
Make the whole world your own. Everyone is your,
Yeah. No one is alien.
yeah,
No one's stranger.
no one is a stranger. That's what we have to do to increase our universality. Never look at the faults of others. Only look at our own. Because if we're going to criticize someone, this is it. Our whole being is only made up of our reactions or some scars or old habits. And when you develop these habits young, they take longer to get rid of, but they can be overcome. And it's not really overcoming, it's redirecting, replacing, becoming who you really are. You know, we have someone who's just come to Vedanta. He said, I want to be the good person I was when I was a child. And I thought, that's a way of putting it that I think we can remember back when we were a child with no set habits. The world was there, and we kind of experienced it as it happened rather than having all of these preset emotions or reactions. But we develop the preset emotions or the automatic reactions as we encounter the world rather than saying, no, we don't look at each thing in and of itself. We don't live in the present. We live in the past and we live in the future. We don't really live right here. But to be universal, we have to live right here, right now, because that's all that's happening. And I only talked for 35 minutes. Every religion has told us how to do it. They have. Christianity said 2 great commandments. And think in terms of Holy Mother with this. Give me your whole heart, love and adore me. No, that's Christian. The first great commandment is love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all thy mind. And the second is like unto it. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Sri Krishna said it in a different way. Give me your whole heart, love and adore me. Worship me always. Bow to me only, and you shall find me. This is my promise, who love you dearly. So we have these promises from, you can find them in every religion. And I think right now, I just discovered a new book, which I have to share with everyone. I don't think you can get it either. I think it's out of print. But in this time of worshiping the Mother, we've had Durga Puja, we just had Kali Puja last night, we had Kali Puja last Sunday too. The Divine Mother is the power of the universe. She's what makes it happen. She's also what makes us not realize God, because she's having a good time. She's enjoying the play, and she doesn't want it necessarily to stop. Now, we've heard over and over again in the gospel, when the children are playing with their toys, the mother goes on with her job. When the child gets tired of its toys and cries, then the mother runs to the child and holds her in her arms. Well, that's what we are in the world of Maya. We are those children who are fascinated by our toys. We're utterly fascinated by them. And if one breaks, we'll find another one until we get tired, until we really want to go home. And I will say that even Holy Mother, when Ramakrishna died, wanted to leave. Because she said, how can I exist without you? How can I exist? You are my love. And he said, but I'm not gone. I've only walked into another room. So we have to. This is part of that firm belief in that firm conviction in her heart was what allowed her to help so many people for so long, because he died in 1886. I'm bad with dates too. And she did not die till 1921? 20. And so she stayed in this world helping people, initiating people, showing them the way to God, showing them by example of how you live your life every day for almost 40 years, 35 years, when she had been so bereft when he had died. And then she broke other caste rules and conventions. She was supposed to have torn the red border off her sari. She was supposed to have thrown away her bangles because she was no longer a married woman, she was a widow. She was supposed to give up fish and get a widow's dye. She did none of those things because her husband, Ramakrishna, was not dead. She was not a widow. He was a living presence in her life all the time. But this also shows her universality, because to go against all those conventions and still be revered by thousands of people of different nationalities shows that, and very, very quietly, she did not lead any great movement to change behaviors. She just lived that way. So, to my mind, it goes that this is the kind of power that the Divine Mother can manifest without getting out and leading protests or having sit-ins. I mean, those are all necessary. I'm not saying they're not necessary, but they're for a different temperament. And the people that have that temperament have to do it. It's like, that would be like Arjuna not doing his duty as a soldier. People have to do their own dharma and their own. But when you take up spiritual life, you change your own perspective. You alter your perspective to include everyone. And know that you're not different from anyone that you run into on the street. You basically are that same person. They want exactly what you want. They have the same likes and dislikes. They want their family to be cared for. They have all of this. They want to love someone. I mean, we all in our hearts have the same motivations to put us through life. We all have different ways of manifesting that. And some are immoral. They go against the rest of their part on society. But all they're trying to do in their own heart of hearts is be happy and be content, which is what what everyone is trying to do, to have peace of mind. But they go about it really radically wrong, in my estimation. Now, I'm going to read this one short thing on the Divine Mother. And it speaks to me. I hope it speaks to you. I have no idea where this comes from. I don't know whether it's a translation of the Chandi or what it is. It's a book that I found in the bookcase. The mother speaks. Her melodious voice, exceeding in beauty the most enchanting music, assures her children of her unbounded love and protection. I am the substance. I am the reality. I am the golden thread that holds you together in perfect harmony, she declares. I am the one source of your inspiration, illumination, strength, and perfection. Know that it is my power which expresses itself through your endeavors. It is my power that goads you into the realm of phenomenal expression. It is even my Maya that makes you forget me and remain attached to the masks I wear. Take refuge in me. I am the essence behind every manifestation. Discover my existence and power behind every form, and I shall remove the veil from your understanding and keep you forever in my arms. In progress or stagnation, happiness or misery, rise or fall, I always lead you by the hand. You might not realize my presence, but I protect, guide, and inspire you at every step. You might not hear my reassuring words, but I hear even the slightest whisper raised in your yearning heart. Have no fear. Gain the conviction that it is the Mother's all-powerful hand which is leading you through the varied experiences of life. I am only the substance. I am the only substance. I am the source of all inspiration, strength, and power. Meditate upon it. Comprehend my existence in every form. Remain constantly saturated in the realization of my boundless and uncaused love. And that, to me, is what Holy Mother represents and manifested in her unbounded love, unconditional love for everyone. And that's about the end of my talk.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Just listening to you is purifying our heart. So beautifully you brought Holy Mother to us And I was listening to that, and your reading at the end was so beautiful to say, uh, whole world is wearing mask. We are all wearing masks. If we can open the mask with our purified intellect, all we see is God. God appearing in different forms. And the one who is seeing mask in others is also wearing a mask. If he opens his own or her own mask, it is the same God, one being appearing as many, whether in human form or the form of other living beings or the other form of other existing beings. So it's all one divine mother, one reality, one God. So that is so wonderful, a universal, you said, Mataji, that was so wonderful to see. We are all begin with thinking in ignorance that I am individual. And in Sanskrit, it's called Dehatma Buddhi. The Buddhi, the intellect, is impure and it identifies our body as the self. I am this much only. Deha Atma Buddhi. Atma is Deha. The body is the self. That type of idea we begin with our life. And then we have to grow to that. And then we grow as a kutumba. A family becomes our own self. Our child gets sick. I feel I am sick. Mother feels that really. More than her own self. When her child gets sick, she feels that pain. And everything about the family is so dear to her, or even the father will think about that, husband and wife. It all happens that way. And Upanishad say, Nava are pati kamaya pati priyo bhavati, atmanastu kamaya pati priyo bhavati. The wife doesn't love husband for the sake of husband. She loves husband for the sake of self. She starts seeing self, her own self in the husband, and that's why the cause of love between the spouse is that same is for the husband towards his wife. So when we see the self, our love grows. Our true love, when it is there, it's all seeing the self. Without finding the self, there can be no love. The love is only for the self. And where that self is, that is only mistaken. When I think myself is only this body, then Dehatma Buddhi, love is only for the body. When Kutumbatma Buddhi, when you feel your family is yourself, your love will be up to the family extended. We have to grow from that consciousness, that awareness to say, uh, Deshatma Buddhi, whole country is myself, whole community is myself. Something happens to my country, we feel it is my being. Something good happens to the country, you feel you're good. Something good achieved by your countrymen, you feel you have done that. You feel the same joy, not less than that we just achieved something. You get some reward, some award. You get Nobel Prize, your professor gets, or someone in your country gets, in some other parts, University of Hawaii gets some very laudable thing. You feel I have done that because you have started feeling your country as your own self. Love has outgrown your small thing. From individual, you are becoming spiritual. Deshatma Buddhi. But we shall not confine there ourselves. We have to feel that whole world is of myself. Whole humanity is myself. That's why it is said, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Your family is not only a family of three or four or five people. Your family is the family of whole world is your family. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. How you have extended yourself to whole humanity becomes your own family. People feel that way. When we grow spiritually, we feel the whole humanity is my family. Something happening somewhere, we feel pain. Something happening good, we feel elated, we feel happy because we feel the whole world is my family. But this Deshatma Buddhi also is not confined. It comes ultimately Vishwatma Buddhi. The whole universe is myself. I am not confined only to this individual body or into the community or family or on the community of human family. We transcend the family of humanity and include the whole living beings in that family. And then ultimately the whole universe become my family. Awareness increasing, the self expanding, the awareness of the self. That is what from individual we become universal. And when we become universal, Swami Vivekananda says, have you ever felt and you want to stretch your arm and you want to embrace the whole universe in your arm, want to feel the whole universe in your own place, in your own being, as you love your friend. You want to love the whole universe, nothing excluded. Then you have become closer to God. That is what universality. When you become from individual to universal, that progress comes, then something changes comes in our behavior. What changes come? We start having, not accusing anyone. We are ready to forgive. We don't mind some mistakes done by someone. We don't condemn anyone. We don't accuse anyone. That one change comes when we become universal. We accept everyone. Whatever good or bad doesn't matter. Then we don't demand anything for yourself. You're happy for what you get. Happy for what has been given to you. You're happy that you are with God. You have no demand for anything extra. Contentment has come in your life. Nothing of the world you want. Demand has gone. You are not accusing, you are not demanding. And then you don't complain for anything or anyone. May we not accuse, demand, or complain. That should be our prayer if we want to grow from individual to universal. And that we see that coming in the people who are practicing spirituality. To just go see our Mataji, the closest example I relate you, that how complaining is not there, how they accommodate with the things, how they are dependent on God, how they don't mind anything, they are not worried for anything. Mataji had come to Toronto to conduct a retreat there 1 year before. And there she was visiting before the retreat to Thousand Island Park in New York State, in Vivekananda Cottage, where Swami Vivekananda had stayed there for 7 weeks. And that cottage is very important for the followers of Ramakrishna. Swami stayed there, Swami's presence you still feel there. They stayed, they spent whole day there, 4 hours drive, 4 hours coming back, long drive. And while coming back after finishing that, is already evening. It's already night. And there they hear that her host had got COVID. Now she cannot live with host. They have to change the host. They have to go to other house. Mataji's smile was, as you see here now today, same, no worry, nothing. Then while coming, what happened? The car got flat tire.
Oh,
It's already late at night. Now it has to be repaired. You have to call, there you have AAA here, we have CAA here, like Canadian Automobile Association. So they had to be called, they will respond to that, they will come to change the tire. So many, it takes about 1 hour or more to do all that. And it's already late in the evening. And when she will reach the host place, and she's tired of long drive and big day, but to surprise, she had no complaint, no worries. She was smiling all through. I had not been with Mataji, but I got this this story of how she believes she behaved with that. No complaint for anything. She didn't say next year, oh, it was a very difficult day, Swami, you sent me there, this happened. No words. She was, next day when I met her, she was same peaceful person. No complaint. This is outgrowing our individuality in spirituality. One simple example that I'm quoting that we observe. There must be so many such examples when she lives there. If we talk to the nuns and brahmacharis there in Santa Barbara, you will know about Mataji, Krishna Prana Mataji. Same with Braja Prana Mataji, same with another nun, same with another monk. How they try to transcend their individual constraint individual awareness to universal awareness by not complaining to anything that happens in life. And then, as they say, love God and everything comes, we accept it as God's thing. She has given, the God has brought us to this world. Whatever He has given is by His grace. Whatever little discomfort, little adverse situation, By it is also His grace, and even the greater grace is that. That is the time when we manifest our spirituality inside. When the difficult times, in good times, everyone is spiritual, everyone is friendly. But in difficult times, then you find behavior changing in the person. The spiritual person will have the same behavior in adverse situation. When we are not good in spiritually, we change our attitude. That we have found in all. You have to just observe these monks and nuns. As we talk about Swami Prabhupada, Swami Swahananda, and Swami Prabhupada, Swami Ashokananda, that we have seen. But you see, in the monks present now, someone said to Swami Sumeswarananda, he was a great writer, he passed away 2 3 years ago, and in India, Ramakrishna Mission. And someone said, "Oh, earlier Sri Ramakrishna disciple had so much of spirituality and so highly intense spiritual awareness they had. But I think that is coming less now. This vairagya or this passion is also getting less in the next generation. The world is more materialistic now." He explained, no, it's not that way. They had set the ideal, no doubt. But now also there are people who are highly spiritual. We should have eye to see that. And he gave the example of one Swami, um, um, and about him, he said he was present that time. He said he was such an intelligent person. He got first in the university, gold medalist. He renounced everything. He joined the order. He became the monk, having bare minimum necessity coming from such a comfortable life. What you want more austerity in the person? Has it austerity become less now? No. And he dedicated his life for the service of the people, for the realization of God. That's why he also passed away, became vice president of our order and passed away by COVID, unfortunately. And that he gave the example like that. So I'm saying this example to say that there are people, Swami Sarvadevananda, you see, our Swami Sarva Priyananda, all they're so wonderful monks of renunciation, of humility, of in transcending individuality to spirit, to universality. You find in many things. Otherwise, how they would love one and all so equally. You find so greatness in all the monks that we see now. Only why to say monks? There are so many devotees. If we see closely, so wonderful qualities in the devotees of God that we find so great things. Their love, we monks, we find we don't know people, but we feel so familiar with those devotees when we meet, how they treat like the member of their family. When we meet someone meeting for the first time, their very appearance, they talk, they smile, so that as if we are their family members. They love us like their children. So that is all transcending individuality to universality, and that comes from our love for all, not looking for any defects in others, only good things, feeling all as our own. So that all, as Holy Mother said, try to make the whole world your own. No one is a stranger, my child. The world is indeed your own. It is your own place. This oneness of a world, oneness of existence will make us grow from individual awareness to the awareness of universality. That we pray, that we become whole in our spiritual awareness. Thank you very much for attending today's Sunday service. And I should I have no words to thank Mataji, Krishna Prana Mataji, to giving us a wonderful talk and reminding the story that bringing us closer to Holy Mother, closer to spiritual the power, and making our day so wonderful, making our heart more purified. And thank you so much, Mataji, and thank you all who are online seeing this talk, and all those in Pittsburgh Ashram, and those who are here present in person. Thank you so much. Now we close with the closing chants. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu Jai Sri Guru Maharaj Ji ki Jai. Jai Mahamai ki Jai. Jai Swami Maharaj Ji ki Jai. Jai Ganga Mai ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Buddha ki Jai. Jai Isha Bhusha ki Jai. Sarva Saratu Durgani Sarvo Bhadrani Pashyatu Sarva Sadbuddhimabnotu Sarva Sarvatra Nandatu. Hari Om Tat Sat. May all be freed from dangers. May all realize what is good. May all be actuated by noble thoughts. May all rejoice everywhere. Om, peace, peace, peace be out. Thank you. See you next Sunday in person at the Vedanta Society of Toronto. And also we will be next Sunday is where we have AGM. So please come to attend the AGM. If you're a member of the society, friends are also welcome. If you are not able to come attend the AGM, please fill in the proxy form and send us as soon as possible. We need it now. We need the quorum to conduct the AGM. Thank you so much.
What is the age?
We have, if anyone then.